Hi, this is The Greatest Story Ever Played. I'm Dan.
I'm Jordan.
And today we're here to talk about the Walking Dead Michonne series, the first episode called In Too Deep.
Yep, so this is the last Walking Dead thing from Telltale that's available. We haven't played it yet, so surprising, actually. But yep, we're covering it.
Yeah, Telltale content we've never done before.
Yeah, it's very surprising. And I think the last of all the Walking Dead Telltale games. So we've recorded on all of them except this one.
Yep.
So, yep. Alright, description here. The Walking Dead Michonne, a Telltale miniseries, stars the iconic blade-wielding character from Robert Kirkman's best-selling comic books. Haunted by her past and coping with unimaginable loss and regret, the story explores Michonne's absence between issues 126 and 139 of the comic book. Over the 3 episodes of the miniseries, players will discover what took Michonne away from Rick, Ezekiel, and the rest of her trusted group, and what brought her back.
All right. And production, like we mentioned, developed by Telltale Games, who did The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us. We've talked about their games many a time.
Once or twice, yeah.
On the podcast. I guess also to give some context for it, it mentioned the between issues 126 and 139. So for the show's reference point, I guess, this is between like the Negan War and when the Whisperers show up.
Yeah, there's not really... And I guess if you're not caught that far up on the show, too bad.
Yeah,
or the comics.
There's like a brief part where this is adapted in the show.
I don't remember this at all. I was thinking about it when I was playing it. I was like, I don't remember.
There's a part maybe at the beginning of season 9 when Carol comes back on a boat and her and Daryl talk. Mm-hmm. And basically Carol like took this storyline.
Oh, okay.
Where she was gone for some amount of time. I think probably between the flash forward of season 8 and the start of season 9, maybe.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So they sort of repurposed it that way of how that worked.
Makes sense. Yeah, I was trying to think, like, when did Michonne leave the show, which wouldn't have made any sense because of Judith and Rick, and it's like, oh, you just disappeared? Okay, what the fuck?
Right, yeah. So that's why it wasn't with this. Instead it got repurposed that way. So, yeah, just for timeline thing. Also, something that I thought was cool, just for some of the voice actors in here being people we know from other games. So, we've got Derek Phillips. He voices Randall in this, who was Billy Riggins in Friday Night Lights. But more, we know him as Mr. Jefferson.
Mr. Jefferson. That dude was pretty cool.
Cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah, great guy.
And then also Cissy Jones voices Norma in this. We know her as Delilah from Firewatch. She was Joyce in Life is Strange.
Oh, wow, okay.
She was in some other Telltale... I think she might have been Katja in Walking Dead Season 1,
oh,
Kenny's
really?
wife.
Okay.
So, a couple of familiar people. So, I thought that was kind of fun. I'd heard some of their voices, and I was like,
yeah,
you're familiar. And so I went and looked it up.
You see, you always take the initiative to find out why they sound familiar. I just am like, they're probably from a game. I'm sure Dan will tell me at some point.
Yeah, but I thought that was cool. Again, for like both of us, like I didn't know anything about this game, who was in it, the characters, including obviously Michonne, but
yep.
Yeah, I didn't know anything otherwise. And I think when this game had come out, the TV show wasn't in this section of the story, so I was like, I'm not going to play it until the TV show passes it, because I wasn't sure how much it could potentially spoil or not.
Which, I mean, assuming... Well, if it goes how this episode was, I mean, we probably could have played it back then, seeing as how there was no spoilers so far. Well, I guess other than the fact that Michonne's alive still, so it could have been a spoiler, but... Yeah, looking back, probably could have played it when it first came out.
Yeah, agreed. So, yeah, that's background on the game. We can jump into kind of recap of the episode. So, the episode begins, and you've got Michonne, who's guilt-ridden over the death of her daughters. And you get this kind of shown to you through this sort of, like, hallucination cutting with real time of her going to... try to rescue her daughters in like the camp they were at, essentially, that had gotten overrun by walkers, and so it's sort of her like trying to find them.
Yeah, and we'll learn as the episode goes on. She like left them to go do something, and then feels guilty because she like wasn't there to protect them. I think that's kind of the big picture of the guilt, sort of.
Right, because she was on, like, I don't know, a supply run or something of that nature, and then while she was gone, their camp gets destroyed.
Yep.
And she tries to find them and finds them dead, I'm assuming. Yeah. They don't show you that they're dead, but...
I think it's safe to assume, otherwise I feel like she would be looking for them.
Right.
So they've got to be dead. For sure.
Yeah. So you get the way they showed this was pretty cool, because it, like, has her go into the room, and, like, you know, Walker comes from behind this way, and then you, like, kill it, and then it flashes to what it is in real life, and you're by a campfire, or, like, all these things.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like, all right, which of these walkers are real walkers right now, and which are, like, hallucination walkers?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it'd be unfortunate if one was real and she didn't think it was real and decided not to kill it, and then I fucking killed her.
Yeah, that's true.
Bummer.
It was, I thought it was a cool scene how they showed it, and gives us that lens into where Michonne's at here. And this ends up leading you to your first choice in the game. So she kills, like, I don't know, the 8 walkers that are around her or whatever, and then she, like, falls on her knees and opens her gun. She's got one bullet, sort of the save the last one for yourself, and you've got the choice of, do you try to kill yourself or not?
Yeah, she, like, puts the gun to her head, so you can choose pull the trigger or not pull the trigger.
So what did you do?
I pulled the trigger.
Okay.
Mostly, like, obviously didn't want her to kill herself. That'd be terrible. I really wanted to see what would happen if I did try, because you're the main character of this game. Let's see where this goes. So I pulled it, and then immediately, like, someone grabs it, and you don't shoot yourself, but...
Okay, so does it not fire?
It fires, but, like, so I guess getting ahead a little bit, well, barely, but so the gun's to your head, pull the trigger, or you're about to pull the trigger, and then Pete, you end up meeting Pete in a second, he, like, grabs your hand and pulls it away, and you shoot straight up into the air instead of at your head. So he grabs it, like, at the last second.
Okay.
So you shoot, but it just doesn't hit anything.
Okay.
Except maybe a bird.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So you did that. I did the opposite. I lowered the gun. So I think for me, how it played out is she, like, puts it to her head and is like, am I going to do this? And then she's like, you know, skip a beat. No. And starts to lower it. And then Pete shows up and he's like, hey, are you all right? Kind of thing. So we end up meeting Pete, same wise. Yeah. So for my choice, 69% lowered the gun, 31% chose to pull the trigger. Eli on Twitter seems to be in the same camp as you. They say, I did, but only to see what would the outcome would be.
Yeah.
So I think kind of curious of, you know, what will happen.
Yeah, and I thought this decision was kind of lame, because you're not going to... Michonne doesn't die in the first 3 minutes. There's no fucking way. So it kind of... That's why I did it. It was like, okay, well, how are they going to make me not die in the first 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Even though I'm going to try to make myself die right now. So it just felt kind of like... I don't know. Kind of stupid, but a waste. Shallow. Empty. Whatever.
Yeah, not a great decision,
yeah.
I would say. I feel like that just shows that 30% of people were probably curious.
I'm surprised it's not higher, to be honest.
More than... you know, it's not, you know, some decisions people actually wanted to do a thing. I'm guessing that most of those are just curious people.
Yeah, I don't know who would want. Yeah, what person would be like, yeah, I'm over this already. It's like, well, you've been playing for 3 minutes. Like, I don't know, I'm done. I'm gonna end it.
Yeah.
We're killing the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird choice.
I am surprised it's not more 50-50. Because I would assume people would be like, what's gonna happen? I assume people are as curious as myself, you know?
No, yeah, that's funny. I don't know if I almost ever play these games where I do curiosity.
Yeah.
I think I always just try to stay in with what I would do.
Yeah.
But it makes sense though, like that curiosity would do that.
I think in any decision that feels consequential, I'm not going curious. I'm going like, okay, what seems the safest, makes the most sense with how I've played the game and how I think will be the best outcome will come about. But this one, it seems so inconsequential. There's no way anything bad's going to happen.
Yeah. Unless
she decides to shoot someone else instead, and like that person would have been a main character, but now they're dead. I don't know how that would have happened, but like there's no consequence here. And I assumed there'd be no consequence.
Yeah.
If there wasn't, I could have restarted.
I wonder if that would be different. So what if? So this is the Michonne game, and it's Michonne. So you're like, she can't die. I mean, I guess that like, what you do that, and then it gets that voiceover like, you may wonder how I'm here, and then it's like Michonne's last 3 days, and this is the end. Like, but it's Michonne. She's not gonna.
Yeah.
She's not gonna not be in the game. But I guess if like, I don't know, you were Lee in the first Walking Dead game, you don't know how important Lee
exactly.
is.
Yep.
Then I guess this decision might feel like a decision because you're like, well, I mean, like, what happens if Lee dies? Like,
yeah,
do you get a new character?
Yeah,
like, it would feel more uncertain.
Yeah,
but yeah, for this though, I feel like you're right with Michonne. It's obviously not happening.
Yeah, and I have some more thoughts on that once we hit the end. General thoughts, but yeah, like that's kind of how I felt off and on.
Okay.
Throughout, but
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So after this moment, we get a flash forward 3 weeks later. Michonne's on a boat with Pete and his crew.
Pete's the guy that we just talked about meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just met him. And Pete has been trying to contact his friends Rashid and Vanessa on the boat on the radio, and he tries some things for a while and then needs to go above deck, but is like, hey, could you keep trying the radio? And there's another crew member who's down there with you who's like the cynicism to Pete's optimism. So Pete is already shown to be kind of a guy that's always like thinks things can get better, always thinks positive about people, all of that stuff. And then the other guy, his name's Oak, who is sort of the opposite end of things will never get better, people are always bad, like that sort of vibe.
Yeah, he's Professor Oak. Yeah,
Professor Oak. Yes.
So, quest to complete the Walker decks.
Yeah. Once Pokemon were no more, he got really cynical.
There's a leaf monster or a leaf walker. There's a rock walker.
The well walker.
Yeah, water walkers.
Yeah,
we'll see later.
So you do take over though, and you end up actually briefly getting to talk to someone for like a sentence or two, but then they cut out pretty fast on the radio. And so Pete, of course, hearing this is full of optimism. People, we should try to find them. Maybe they know about my friends. Maybe we could help them. All of that. Oak, though, on the other side says, no, it's too dangerous. You know what people are like. All of the problems that come with that. And Pete kind of puts forward, if we're not helping people, why are we even bothering to survive? Sort of thing. Like, helping people is the most important thing. And you get to sort of be an intermediate voice, I guess, in that.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those, like, who are you going to sort of side with, but it doesn't really change the outcome type situations. But it's one of those, like, oh, Pete will remember this, or those interactions.
Yeah. I basically tried to play Michonne so far as sort of, like, skeptical but favorable towards Pete. Mm-hmm. Was sort of my move of, like,
yeah,
I'll, like, support you, but I don't know if you're right that, like, not all people should be saved.
Yeah, it's tough, because I actually like Pete as a character a lot. Mm-hmm. He's really cool. But I think I would agree with Oak at this point. Like, they've been surviving in the apocalypse for a while now. I probably wouldn't try to save anyone that, like, I probably wouldn't try to save any random people. I wouldn't go out of my way. If I saw them and they needed help, but I wouldn't go looking for them,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's safer to be safe.
Yeah, it seems like it could be, maybe that ploy isn't as common this far into the apocalypse, but it seems like preying on people's good intentions and then killing them and taking their stuff seems like a way bad people probably survived a lot for a certain point.
Hell yeah.
Until, I guess, all the quote-unquote good people got killed or wised up.
And then they just became hardened good people who wouldn't kill you for no reason, but they'd fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a...
Yeah.
Interesting spot. But so, while this conversation is happening, though, the boat ends up getting stuck on something. So you come up top, and on deck, you meet two other people, Berto and Sadiq, which is fun. This Sadiq being different looking than the Sadiq in the show. The show Sadiq's a younger guy. This guy is older. He looks like he's more...
He's the doctor, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was fun to run and like meet him in this, just as the comic version or whatever. But you look for kind of solutions on how to get unstuck, and ultimately you find that there's a part of the boat that is damaged and will need replaced. And in the distance, you see an abandoned ferry, and so you and Pete decide, okay, we're gonna go there to try to get the supplies. The crew kind of warns you, and they're like, or Oak does, I guess, and it's like, you're not gonna like rescue people while you're out there, though. And you're like, no, supplies are kind of the main thing.
Pete's like, yeah, we'll rescue people too.
Yeah, and I think for me, I was like, I won't not rescue people.
Yeah, but people there and they're nice, like.
But I'm looking for supplies.
Yeah,
is sort of my intent. So on the way, Pete tries to like talk to you some while you're in a rowboat. You can engage a little bit.
I engaged as much as I could. Yeah, because he keeps trying to talk to you about like the incident with the gun. At the beginning, the quote unquote decision at the beginning. Yeah, so I think kind of throughout he'll check in on you and bring up stuff and try to get you to talk. So I try to talk as much as I could because I like Pete. He seems like a pretty good dude.
Yeah,
pretty friendly.
I agree. I tried to engage him too. He seemed like he's a good guy. I mean, again, he saved us. And even in his conversation, it seems like Michonne, before picking up the game where we are, has been pretty, like, to herself. And, like, she'll give some details, but hasn't gone too deep into anything.
Yeah.
But is, pulling her weight and being a helpful crew member, but isn't, engaging as much. So this being a time to do that. So you do that, but then on the way there's water walkers, as we mentioned.
Yes.
So
Oak already discovered them.
Yeah. So they're under under the water, and they just sort of like will pop up and like pull you into the water. It's pretty chaotic.
Yeah, and they're like walking on the what's it called?
Ocean floor.
The seafloor. Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
The river bank. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, they're not swimming, but they're walking on the water. It's like that one zombie movie.
Oh,
where they walk to that city that's on the island.
Yeah,
it's like that. I hated that movie, but just like that.
Yeah. So they're kind of doing that. Once you manage to get free of the walkers, you get outside of the ferry, and your next decision comes up.
Yeah. So at this point, there's. You find two ways to get into the ferry, essentially. There's a ladder to your left. You can climb up and get on the deck, I guess, the deck of the ferry. Or there's this broken window you can go in that's a dark room, and you have to pick which way to enter the ferry. So, looks like we both did the same thing. But, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I did the ladder. My thought being is it seems like it'd be harder to get trapped.
Yeah.
Is like if you're going inside a room you haven't been in, like
and it's dark.
Yeah, that seemed less good versus if you're on top of the boat, like I mean, I guess at worst you could probably jump off the boat into the water or something. You know, like seems like you'd have a better chance at being safe.
Yeah, or climb back down the ladder. Like, yeah, that was my thought too. Exactly. Like, okay, one, it's a dark room in a place we haven't been to before. That there's no signs of life. That means there's probably walkers in there. Like, there's got to be walkers. So, yeah, my thought was, well, we could climb the ladder. We could look at the deck before getting on the deck and see how there's walkers up there and not go on the deck. And even distract them. Because I feel like walkers are dumb enough. If they saw you on the ladder, they'd just jump off and try to get you, but they would fall off. And you could probably clear the whole deck doing that. So, yeah, my thought was there's just no real danger going on the deck.
That's true. And I guess that you can't get trapped. I mean, like, you could be stuck on the ladder if there are walkers above and walkers below. But in the room, if you're in a tight room and there's walkers there and walkers came behind you, you don't really...
Yeah, because the walkers could get through that window. It's not like it was...
Yeah, it's not like a door to open.
They would just fall through it. Yeah, it was easy. But yeah, even on the ladder, I mean, you could get stuck on the ladder, but you could pull the walkers down and throw them kind of off. Because they had they had weapons.
Right.
So it just seems safer.
Agreed.
So yeah, it looks like 55% of people took the ladder and then 45% went through the window. So honestly, I'm surprised it's that close. I don't know why you'd go through the window. I'm kind of curious as to what people's reasoning was. Because there was nothing that indicated the window is safer. It's not like you heard noises above the ladder and chose to do that or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess the ladder looked kind of rickety, but...
That's the only thing I could think of, is if you're afraid the ladder would break.
Yeah, but even then, then you go through the window.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whatever.
But you do make it. You climb up the ladder. You do get a spot where the walkers do come. And they try to get you, but you make it up and you're fine.
Yeah, because the ladder kind of breaks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right.
But once you're on top of the boat, you look around, and you end up finding some people who were executed, who were zip-tied. Mm-hmm. So their hands were tied, and then they were killed. And so you're like, all right, some like bad stuff went down here. You also end up finding a photo of Pete's friends' kids. Mm-hmm. You don't find them dead, but you presume they are among this ship of dead people.
Well, Pete seemed to... I assumed they weren't.
Oh, okay.
Because Pete was like... He said something about they must have come through here. They must have left in a hurry. They wouldn't have left this on purpose. Like, they wouldn't have left this by choice, or like, unless they had to. Or something like that. So I took it as they're probably somewhere else and they got off the boat. Because you don't really... Well, we'll see. You don't really look for them at all.
No, you don't. No, that's interesting. And that makes sense. I think I took that as just they wouldn't have left this here, so they must be dead. Because
which is fair.
Not, but
then I guess Pete would have looked more. I feel like you would have looked at every walker until you figured out, okay, that's them or they're not here.
Yeah, that's true. That's weird. Yeah, we'll see, I guess. That is a little odd. When you see the picture of the kids, Michonne has another hallucination. So, yeah, she's just got pretty bad PTSD.
Yeah.
From losing her kids.
It seems like anything with kids triggers, PTSD of her kids, which, makes sense.
Yeah, definitely understandable.
Yep.
After that, you find a room that's, locked, and there's this walker who's, pinned to it. Mm-hmm. In pretty, gross fashion. It was just, I think just the badness... Was it a walker or was it a person? It might have been a person, even.
Well, so what I think happened is they pinned a person to it, and then that person got eaten by walkers, because it was, half a person.
Yeah.
It was, the top half of a person.
That's right.
So I assumed that the person was alive when they were pinned to the door, is kind of my thought.
So it's pretty...
Yeah.
What went down here was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Just furthering.
You tell that, okay, whoever did this is, they were pretty evil. Even if there was let's say there was some, legitimate armed conflict between people that lived on this boat and somewhere else. Whoever did this is, the worst side of it. For sure.
Yeah, they went all the way there.
Yeah. They sent it.
Mm-hmm. But you take down kind of the dead walker and go into the room behind it, and you end up finding a duffel bag full of supplies. And while they're kind of investigating that room, there's a locker that they hear some kind of noise in. So they decide to check the locker out. And there's a teenage boy named Greg in there who has a gun pointed at you. So there's sort of this standoff of he's like, who are you? Stay away. I'll shoot you kind of thing. And you're like, how about just chill? We're good. But then a girl, who we find out is Sam, his sister, shows up during this altercation from another side and points a gun at you both as well. So now you're just kind of both held up. While you're held up, though, a bunch of walkers flood in. Mm-hmm. As Michonne, you go full Michonne and kill...
Just brutally kill off one.
Almost all of the walkers. The other three are essentially useless in this whole tussle, and you basically kill all of them.
Oh, we didn't mention this earlier. You also don't have your sword. You have a machete where your sword would be. Mm-hmm. It's on your back. So it's still pretty cool. But it's not the sword.
Yeah, it's not the katana.
That's very important.
Yeah.
I wonder if you'll get it at the end.
I hope
Probably
so.
not. Probably not, because she would have had it before this.
Yeah.
It's probably back wherever she left it.
Yeah, maybe it's back at Alexandria or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know why you'd leave it, but...
Yeah.
It's not here. Not in episode 1.
I hope we get it at the end of the game.
Maybe she'll find another one.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope you get it, though. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But you, kill everyone, or kill all the walkers, and they're all like, whoa. You, killed all these walkers. And then, you're like... the kids are like, we're gonna take this bag and all the things in it, and they like resume holding you up after you, including saving one of them from the walkers. Like when you
stupid.
when you cleared the room and you're like, I put a couple of my things in there, give me my things back, and you can go. That's fine. We didn't know it was yours, sort of thing. I think you could be a dick about it too if you want, and be like half and half or something. But I was just like, give me our stuff, whatever. And they're like, no, it's ours now. And I was like, all right, fuck you guys.
They're like, all right, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. And then I was mad, but then a group of armed people show up, and they're led by Randall, who's an asshole for sure.
Yep.
But he holds them up, and it sounds like his anger towards them is Sam and Greg have stolen things from their camp, and he came and got them back and got the supplies back, kind of thing. But in kind of his anger, talking to them, yelling at them, you find out that this is some of the supplies, but not all of the supplies. But he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna take you all back to our camp to sort this out, because he thinks that you're kind of part of what's gone on, and I just kind of went with, like, I met them just now, like, I don't know them.
They actually hold us up.
Is that kind of how you went about that too?
Yeah, I didn't really want to talk back at this point. They had very armed.
Yeah.
And we were clearly not armed. So,
right.
Yeah, my thought was, let's play it safe. We'll figure this out.
Cool. Yeah. So you head back to base. His sister Norma is in charge at their base. Their base is called Monroe. You get there, and they split your group up. So Michonne and Sam go into one room. Pete and Greg get sent into another. And so they want to split you up, kind of, I think, make you nervous, but also they're going to ultimately question you with these kind of groups in mind to see what the truth is. And when you're with Sam, she like tells you this group is bad, you've got to escape, they're bad people, blah, 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 blah. And just trying to like set the stage of like, if you want to see your friend again, like we got to get out of here, all that kind of stuff.
Which, I don't know. I mean, I believe that because they like held us up and all that, but Sam and Greg also held us up and then tried to steal our stuff. Like, you're not good either.
Right.
Like, fuck you.
Agreed. Yeah, I was kind of like, it seems like you're in trouble. You want to bring me into that versus like...
You want help getting out of here because you're scared versus you don't care about me.
Right. And that like, it doesn't seem like I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble because I was with you. But it doesn't... I don't get the vibe that I'm going to be, full in trouble or something.
Yeah. Yep.
So she like manages to break one of her zip ties, or cuffs or something. It's not zip ties because it's not clear that they executed these people that we saw on the boat, but it feels like it probably was them.
Yeah, they knew where the boat was and they were there armed. A little too coincidental in my book.
Yeah, maybe it was you were handcuffed to a pipe, and she broke the pipe to get the handcuff.
Yeah, some kind of beam or bar or pipe. She like pulled it off. The thing was attached to, but she was still cuffed behind her, or her hands were tied somehow behind her back.
Yeah,
so she was still behind her back, and you're still stuck on whatever structure you're on.
Yeah. So she tried to convince you to ambush Randall in that room once she broke free. So what did you do?
I did not ambush Randall. One, because I don't trust Sam much, and it's like, well, I'm not in trouble. We'll figure this out. I'm confident at least me and Pete will be fine. And you guys, I honestly didn't really care. And then two, I was like, if I do try to bust out and ambush him, one, we're both still cuffed. Two, I'm cuffed to this thing, so I can't really do anything. Like, let's just see how this plays out instead of getting shot right now. It just seems foolish and stupid.
I agree. It doesn't seem like you would be able, even if you wanted to do this, be able to knock out your guard, figure out where Pete and Greg are, and then all this, like, that's not going to happen anyway.
Yeah,
like,
with
out of their base.
With a gun that you take from Randall.
Yeah, I don't see it at all either. So I didn't do it either.
Yeah, and the fact that they're questioning us and not just shooting us, like on the spot in the ferry, it means they're not. I mean, they're bad probably, but they're not like just gonna kill you on the spot bad.
Right.
Which maybe they end up being that bad. I don't know, but there's at least a chance to talk.
Right. It seems like if they did want to just kill you and end it, they would have just killed the 4 of you on the boat and taken what they hadn't left.
Taken the supplies. Yeah.
Like
so.
So the fact that they didn't do that, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel super in danger at this point.
Same.
So 41% of people were like us. 59% of people ambush Randall.
I'm surprised by that.
Which I'm guessing that it doesn't work, and you just get beat up a bit.
Probably.
Because I don't think that it's not like you get a chance to escape. I assume.
Yeah. Which I wonder. One thought I did have in this section too was, again, I could have ambushed him, and I'm not going to get killed. So
yeah, that's true.
I wonder if that was kind of a motivating factor.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's I wonder if you feel too much armor. That's like as a character. That's interesting.
I have some thoughts about that.
Yeah. So ultimately, after this, Randall comes in to get you. He takes you to Norma. And she starts off pretty like friendly in your conversation. She like offers you a beer, I think. Like
yeah, and she's Randall's brother or sister.
Yeah.
Sister, yeah.
And she kind of questions like, okay, what do you know about the supplies? What do you know about this? How long have you known each other? Blah, 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 blah. And I just told the truth through this. So I was like, I met them earlier today. I don't know about any other supplies. That's the only stuff I saw. That kind of stuff.
That's what I did too. Again, because I didn't do anything wrong. I was on the boat looking for supplies, but we didn't steal anything. Just want to get the hell out of here.
Yep.
Or potentially even join this community if it's not totally shitty.
Right, yeah. So after she finishes questioning you, she brings in Greg and asks the same questions.
Well, did you... So she asks you to ask the questions to Greg? Did you do that?
I think I did.
Yeah, I did, because I didn't want to piss anyone off.
Yeah, I think I tried to, again, kind of be peaceful, keep it as you want. So you asked the same questions, and some of his answers are different, or maybe all of them are different than what you say. I forget. At least some are different.
There's three.
That Norma's mad.
Because there's 3 questions. There's like, how long have you known each other? How are there more people in your group? Maybe there's just those 2. I don't remember. Those are the 2 I remember the most.
Yeah, and I think I told the truth for both of those.
I did. Yeah. It's like there's 4 of us. We just met like fucking 2 hours ago or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is another decision. As you're, well, technically Norma's questioning Greg even through us. She realizes there's discrepancies. Like, I think Greg is lying. He says, "Yeah, we've known each other for years. We're like old family friends." I'm like, oh my god. So at this point, you can say he's lying. You can say he like. Essentially, you can put the blame on him. You can take the blame, or you can take the blame for some of them and not for the other ones. You could say you're lying, whatever. So, what did you do?
I ended up in a spot where I shared the blame with him. I don't remember exactly the dialogue I got to get there, but I tried to make it be like, he's not a liar, like, in fullness, but, like, I forget one of the questions. Maybe one of them was, do you have another group? And he didn't know the answer to that. So I think maybe you say, yeah, I'm a part of another, like, we have a boat or whatever. Like, there are a few other people. But he doesn't know that, so he says, no, it's just us, or something like that. Yeah. So I think I shared the blame for the discrepancy because all of it being wrong wasn't his fault, even though he lied about how long we knew each other. Yeah. And, like, that was shitty. But some of him being wrong wasn't his own fault because we don't know each other.
Yeah. And I mean, So, yeah, I did the same thing. We shared the blame. So, just for some stats, 46.5% of people shared the blame, 37% let Greg take the blame, and then 16% took the blame themselves. So, I mean, I was kind of similar. I didn't intentionally share the blame, but so if you essentially, so in this spot, you can either say, yeah, he's lying, Greg's lying, or you can say, I'm lying, I lied. Depending on what you say, either you get punched in the face or hit, I forget, or Greg does. So I think after the first time I said he's lying, One, because I was still kind of, it's like, dude, you fucking tried to steal from us. And then he got hit and was like, it seemed pretty bad. Like Randall was gonna fuck him up. After that, I was like, well, I'm not gonna die. So I was like, I lied. And then I took the blame just to kind of see what would happen.
Yeah.
So I wonder if most people kind of felt bad because he was getting just wailed on.
I think that was probably how it worked for mine, too.
Yeah.
Because, like, after this, he's like, oh my god, I pissed my pants. Or, like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because Randall holds a gun to his head and he pees himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you're just a kid.
And Randall's
terrible.
Like, really bad. Like, he's not even doing, like, this stuff in a constructive manner. Like, one of the other guys, Zachary, is, I think, more of a normal person. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's too far, man. This isn't even helping. And Randall basically gets mad and is like, you ruined the interrogation.
Yeah. He's not interrogating. He's just punching.
There's not. It's like those things where it's like, oh, I'll get the information I need out of you. And it's like, if you just torture someone enough, they're going to just say whatever you want. That's not getting the information. That's just
ending the interrogation.
You're just hearing, like, the words you would want to hear, but then it's not information that will actually do anything.
Yep. So we got a listener feedback on this. Alyssa says no. So they did not sell out Greg to Norma.
So...
And at this point, too, like, Norma doesn't seem totally bad. I think she's, like, letting Randall do this, so clearly she's not good. But she also, when he gets too far, she's like, stop. Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. So she seems kind of, like, reasonable to some extent, but also gonna get what she wants.
Yeah. It seems like still, like, sort of bad, will let bad things happen.
Yeah.
But isn't, like, gonna try to just be a maniac or whatever.
Yeah, she's not the violent maniac type. She's maybe more the... I have peons that kind of do stuff that I don't really want to hear about.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. About results, not about how it gets there.
Right. So then, kind of after this interaction, Pete gets brought up to talk with Norma, and Michonne and Greg get taken out. So she's continuing sort of the questioning different parties to see where the stories line up and figure out the truth. So Michonne and Greg get taken to the room where Sam's at. And in that room, you've got Randall and Zachary there. And Zachary, Randall just gets on his case, like, hardcore. And it's like, you like, ruined my interrogation. You're, like, the worst foot soldier ever. Like, we should kick you out of our group. You don't do anything. Like, just being a shithead.
Yep.
Yeah. And he basically is like, you need to be harsh on these prisoners. They're the enemy, sort of thing. And so you get in this spot where he's like, Zachary's pointing a gun at Greg, and Randall's just like egging him on and pushing him. And he's like, you need to discipline him. You should shoot him, like, in the shoulder, or, this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think Sam is being antagonistic sort of at the same time in this. And it's like, chill, you idiot.
Shut
like,
up.
Let Randall be the only wild person here. Mm-hmm. And then in this, Zachary ends up accidentally shooting Greg.
Kills him.
Yeah. He gets shot in, like, the chest. And then Randall's like, oh my god, you idiot, you shot him. How could you do... Like,
yeah, you're like, dude, this is your fault.
This is all your fault, 100%. Yeah. So Randall and Zachary go to get medical help for Greg. But Greg got shot in the chest. Like, dude's not living.
Yeah. Nope.
And so you, like, get a brief interaction with him, but, I mean, like, he's fading fast. Like, he's turning gray. Like, he's looking bad right away because he got a shot that medical attention is not going to help you.
Nope.
Probably even in, like, today's world, you might still be dead, let alone in the zombie apocalypse
world.
How
close to the heart you get shot, and it's over.
Yeah, it's over. And he ends up dying and is getting ready to turn into a walker. And you're like, Sam, you've got to put him down. And she, like, it's like, no, he's, like, my little brother, blah, 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 blah. And then, then he comes back pretty fast, so... This was definitely the quick respawn kind of walker.
Yep.
Like Shane.
Yep. 5 seconds.
Yeah, where it's like, all right, they're back.
Yep.
And so you try to get her to put him down. She won't, though. So you have her hold him, and then you put Greg down for her. which leads you into your next decision. So Zachary like shows up with like a med kit, and he's like, "Oh my god, did he die?"
No shit.
He's just like, I don't think he wants to be bad at all in this. He's just fucked up and in over his head.
He just seems kind of incompetent for sure,
yeah.
but also just an innocent person. I don't know.
Yep.
Definitely did not want to kill him.
No, not at all.
The fact that he was surprised, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he wanted to help, and he thought this might help. But he just gets disarmed basically like immediately by Sam.
Yeah. He pulls a gun out.
Yeah, because he's surprised as to what's going on. And so now Sam has Zachary's gun pointed at Zachary. And your next decision comes on is, are you going to interfere and let Sam shoot Zachary or not and just let it happen? Mm-hmm. So what did you do and why?
I interfered. I took the gun from her. One, because he did shoot Greg and kill him, but it did seem like a complete accident. And in the situation they were now, like a guy who knows wherever they are and the lay of the land and all that, is probably better than not having him. And maybe he'll join your crew and he'll end up being okay. He just seemed like a pretty okay guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he tried to stop Randall from beating Greg earlier. Seemed like he definitely didn't mean to do it. That was the main reason. And then two, I feel like if we shot him, it'd be pretty loud and people would come down and check on it, and then we'd be screwed. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, my thought was similar. It's like, one, he didn't mean to do it, so he doesn't, I don't know, deserve to get killed, quote unquote, for that. But then also he knows what really happened too. Mm-hmm. So if you come back, you could leave, have the gun in your hand, go with Sam and Zachary up to Norma now, and be like, hey, Randall was being shitty and Zachary accidentally killed Greg. Mm-hmm. We're here. We're not killing you. We're not enemies. Can we all leave? This has gone on enough.
At least Michonne and Pete.
Yeah.
Keep Sam.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you could keep Sam, whatever, I guess. But that seems like that could resolve that. And that you spared Zachary to not get killed. It seems like how you could leave this place.
Mm-hmm. It's a good point.
In a, we're cool manner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also if they want retribution or whatever for them stealing supplies, well, you just killed Greg, so that should be good enough.
Yeah.
You killed one of the thieves.
Yeah, we're even.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of felt like that versus I don't know, if you kill Zachary and you have to kill your way out of this place, you're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause a lot of problems versus I feel like you could really show you're not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I prevented one of your people from getting killed. I didn't kill them. I spared, all that stuff. It's if I were trying to do those things, we've been doing them.
Yeah. The only issue with, I guess it's 83% of people spared him, and then 17% let Sam kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So the only issue with our decision is that Zachary ends up with the gun again. So if he decides to be like, nah, fuck you guys, then kind of stuck. Same position.
And yeah, if he decided to be bad, I guess from there.
Which wouldn't make sense.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Either. So yeah, and that's where the episode ends you on that as your final note. So
cliffhanger.
Yeah. So I guess moving into some general thoughts about this. We mentioned a little bit at the beginning, but I'm liking playing a Telltale game I haven't played before. I guess the last choice-based game that we played before that we had never done would be I don't know, when we played Life is Strange True Colors last year, maybe.
Yeah, that's a long time.
But before that, it's we played all the Telltale seasons for Walking Dead. But I guess we did 3 last year, but it was we played most of it in the past, but it was less familiar.
Oh yeah, you're right.
When we did A New Frontier or whatever.
Yep.
But really, most of the Telltale stuff or choice-based games that we've played overarching have been stuff we'd played before. Mm-hmm. So it's fun playing right now, just getting to do a new one and sort of see some of the things you like about that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
For the first time or whatever.
Yeah, and I totally agree. The only I guess, issue I have with playing this now is the plot armor, like we had talked about. Like, one of the things with the Telltale games is, and I guess you can care about the other characters, like Pete. So far, he's the only one I would really care about. But, sorry. Lost track of what I was saying. Anyway, yeah, like in the first season or in the last season, just being afraid that Lee could die,
right,
or that Clementine could die. You're like, I'm gonna be very careful with the decisions I make. This one feels kind of like, I'll just fucking make this decision and that decision, and I'm gonna pretend to see if I can shoot myself in the head because I know I'm not gonna die. So it almost feels kind of, yeah, like invincible.
Yeah.
So I think that takes away some of the excitement or the tension of some of the decisions, because, I mean, I know for a fact, like 100% fact, Michonne's not going to die.
Right.
Or get seriously hurt anyway, maimed, whatever. Like, there's just no way. So I know what happens further on in the Walking Dead universe. So I think that is a little rough, just kind of knowing that.
Yeah, I don't know if doing that with a character who you know is plot armored.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think that's great. Another thing I think about this is it's a little unfortunate that you've got like a focused action character like Michonne who, like, kills people with swords and it's action heavy in Telltale combat, because Telltale combat is not particularly great.
Yeah, I mean, you don't play for the combat.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And that's not what it's for.
Yeah.
I think at best it's kind of like it just is what it is, and at worst it could be like annoying or shitty. Like, I know that there were times in previous Walking Dead games where I'd die a bit because I just didn't do the thing right, and it wasn't because it was hard, it was because like the actions weren't I don't know, that great.
I think there's a couple, and I don't remember the game, maybe the first game, where you have, some of the choices are like, you have to shoot this walker or it's going to kill this person, and you fucked up.
Yeah.
I think, and then the game goes on, that person's dead.
Right.
I think, if I remember correctly. So I think that's its best.
Yeah.
Is when you actually have to do it well, because then you're like fumbling with the controller and like, I gotta kill this walker. And it's kind of difficult because the controller aren't great.
Right.
But yeah, I think what you're saying, any action that isn't like, you have 5 seconds to shoot this walker and you should be able to do it in 3 seconds, is like not the best.
Yeah, it just doesn't, like, it just doesn't add a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not great, but like, it's fine. Telltale combat is what it is. I'm fine with that in general, but it's unfortunate that you have such a, potential action hero type character as a focus in a game like this. Like, I feel like if you had a game that, this is like high praise, but like if it was like a Ghost of Tsushima style game, except it's Michonne, that would be so fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Because, you just have this full sword action that would be awesome and like fitting of what her character is. And instead here, you're restricted by
this game's pretty similar to that.
Exact same. No,
it's very similar.
But you're restricted by the type of game it is,
yeah.
Which again is fine. I don't come to Telltale for that at all. I come for the story.
Yeah.
But I think it's an unfortunate matching. I guess when you consider the style of character Michonne is paired with the style of gameplay Telltale is, but then also on the reverse, for your point, the story type that Telltale should bring or can bring is who knows what will happen, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But then you have a character who is not that.
You know for
so
sure will not die.
I think this is a little mismatched as a concept. Like,
yeah.
That said, like, those gripes, I'm excited to see what happens in this. Like, I'm looking forward to playing the next episode.
Yeah, same, for sure.
Like, just the unknown of this is pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
But if I were Telltale Games and I could go back and make a game that is not among the Clementine stuff, but is a Walking Dead thing, even if it's Walking Dead from the comics, I don't think I'd choose this.
Yeah, I'd probably pick a some character, and I can't think of any examples, that kind of leaves and doesn't come back to the show, but doesn't die in the show, and you kind of do like their post exodus, and like, because then at that point they could die or whatever. It is just difficult knowing whatever you do, any decisions you make, unless you fail quick time events, nothing crazy is going to happen to your main character. It just won't happen.
Right.
So it's not scary. There's no real feeling of consequence yet.
Yeah. I guess even if you were a character who was around people in the comic, but is a new character. So, like, what if you were, I don't know, you're someone who lives in Woodbury, but you're not a named character, and you're interacting with things the governor is doing, or something like that.
That'd be cool.
You could die or not die because we don't know you from this other stuff.
It'd be fun. It'd be the same. It'd be a cool, like, pivotal section of the comic and show.
Yeah, you could do something like that. Versus if you were, I'm the governor, or someone who's named in there.
I'm Rick.
Yeah, you're Rick. Obviously, same thing. You would have the same issue. You know where it's going to go. Even if it's, okay, I'm the governor before Woodbury. Woodbury happens, whatever. You know what happens after that. You still have the same plot armor in this. But if it's just a new character who either interacts with our named characters or it's all new, either of those seem a bit wiser for this type of storytelling desire.
Yeah. I agree, and we'll see. I'm excited to see how that plays out, but I'm excited to play more and kind of see. Mm-hmm. I already feel like an affinity for Pete. I think he's a good character. So I think that'll be the main driving force is like, okay, how much can they buff up Pete and his character so that I don't want him to die? Because that could be where the feeling of consequence comes in, or if there's another character that's introduced.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think so too. And like, yeah, since this is all new, I have no idea where any of it could go, or are these people are presumably as bad as they seem.
Yeah,
but
they gotta be.
I guess there could be other things that we don't know though. Like, it's possible. So I don't know. I like that. I'm definitely about that stuff. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, excited to play it, and it is great playing a game that I haven't played before. It's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's really all I've got. Did you have anything else?
Nope.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the first episode of Walking Dead Michonne. This series is 3 episodes, so we're going to be covering all of them. So yeah. If you want to check out other episodes we've done, our website's TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there too. We've done all 4 seasons of The Walking Dead. We've done Wolf Among Us. I did Telltale's Game of Thrones, so like, if you want Telltale content, there's a lot of episodes.
Got it.
There's a lot of it. Or, other choice-based things like Life is Strange. That's definitely been a wheelhouse for us. So if you want anything like that, check that out. If you'd want to support the podcast financially, you can do that at patreon.com/greateststoryeverplayed. And there, for as little as $1 per month, that will get you access to monthly bonus episodes we do. In the past, we've done like our favorite Telltale Walking Dead characters. We rank the Life is Strange episodes, stuff like that. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, check that out. If you'd want to support the podcast but can't financially, that's totally cool. A thing that would really help is just sharing the podcast with a friend, or like rating and reviewing us on iTunes or whatever, that kind of thing. Just to, share, I guess, this community being able to enjoy games more together. That would mean a lot and be cool. Yeah, I think that's all the things. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.